Hiya.
In the contract.
Hello.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Can you get a bit more information about BIKC?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know that this is British Indoor Karting Championship.
Yes.
I've done it.
Are we on film?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah. No, don't worry. It's our friends, viewers.
Yeah. So, Motorsport UK is the governing body of motorsport. And it used to be called the MSA. Indoor karting has never been recognised, if you like,
Yes.
from the governing body. So, 3 years ago, we started talking to TeamSport, they've got 35 indoor tracks across the UK, and together we worked together to create the British Indoor Karting Championship. So it's operated by TeamSport in its entirety. We have nothing to do with the rules or the regulations or the management of it, but we do issue a license. So if somebody but it's not a license in a competency sense. It's just a way of getting those drivers into our community, so they receive our communications and our monthly magazine and this sort of thing. So we launched it in January 2020, and the way it works is that people take out what's called an elite membership with TeamSport, and to qualify for British Indoor Karting Championship they have to go and set 3 qualifying times at their local circuit. If they're in the top whatever, they will go to their local final. The local finalists will then go from the different tracks to regional finals, and then with a grand final at the Warrington track. So in 2020, because of COVID, the whole thing got delayed, so eventually we had the final at Warrington in May 2021.
Yes.
And then we launched 2021 season from there on, and the finals are on the 5th and 6th of December again at Warrington for this year, for the 2021. So for year 1 we had 4 adult categories split into weight, and we had 3 junior categories, so we ended up with 7 British champions. For 2021 season they dropped it down, so there's not so many categories, but it's still nicely spread, so if you're light or heavy or young or old you can still compete. So it's been brilliant. I think the first year we had something like 4,000 people register and take 4,000 people to go into the qualifying, and that whittled it down to the top drivers at the final. We've got similar numbers for 2021. I think it's a bit less, about 3,500, something like that for 2021. But it's great to recognise indoor karting and to have a British champion, or 7 or 6 British champions, because I started. For me, it's a bit of a dream, because when I was racing 2-strokes in the 80s when indoor karting was first invented.
Yes.
And I worked at the first go-kart track that was run by a company called Playscape. And
Playscape?
Yeah, I worked at Playscape in the 80s.
I worked for Playscape.
Did you?
Yeah.
How funny. So which track?
At Streatham.
Oh really? I was at Streatham as well. So we started.
Oh my God.
When I first joined them, we had Battersea and Clapham, and then got rid of Clapham, we had Streatham. Clapham to me was the best track. And I remember at the time the MSA, came and knocked on the door and went, but they were just after some cash for the permits and the authorisation, and we didn't do that. But obviously we went from indoor. We then Bob Pope created the Pro Car, and then we had Club 100. So I was involved in Club 100 from when it started in '93 until '99, and John then took over. And it was interesting when we were talking to TeamSport. I went to go and watch. They were running a championship already, just under their own banner, and I went to go and watch a regional final at their track in Farnborough, and it was the adult category, so you guys there from 65 all the way down to early 20s. Taking it obviously very seriously, and I'd forgotten what it takes to be successful as an indoor driver, and it's a very specific skill. You've got no power, 5.5 horsepower. You're in a cart that weighs a flipping lot. You cannot make a mistake and hit a wall because they're tired or they're barriers, so you lose momentum. Even if you clip a wall, you lose momentum, and it's all about keeping that momentum going. And also, you can't be naughty. So when I was racing 2-strokes, you give people a nudge and In indoor karting, you can't do that because they've got cameras and marshals, so you have to be super clean. And what I watched was, I said to the race director, I said, "Who's good in this?" And he went, "Oh, watch so and so." And he was starting from the back because that's where his grip position was. And I watched him plan his moves, execute them cleanly, make the move, job done, and he made his way up to the lead. And I thought, do you know what? That is really, really good driving. And it reminded me of, I used to the Monaco Cup.
Yes.
And I used to race in endurance, did that for 5 years running. And again, you got that walled environment. Yes, you're going quicker, but you had to be very precise about your moves because, there's no runoff. Jeopardy is a big issue.
Yes.
If you're going to touch, it's going to hurt. And I saw a lot of people get hurt there. And you haven't got the danger necessarily with indoor, but it just reminded me how to be a really good indoor driver is a special skill in that environment. So the people who did well in it were absolutely deserved winners, and I'm looking forward to. I didn't go to see the final last year or this year for 2020, but I'm going to go up to Warrington and see the junior finals on the Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's you can be a British champion for 300 quid. You pay for your qualifying and you pay for your heats, but I think the final is free. I can't remember. But yes, you can go and spend some more money and practice on the circuit. But it's proper. It's grassroots, cheap motorsport, and you can be British champion. And then whether you stay in indoor, whether you want to go to Club 100, and Club 100 are providing prizes for the drivers, and it's just a great way to get those people who are involved in indoor karting and love it, to get them into our Motorsport UK community and to get them to go, okay, now you've done indoor karting, there's all these other things you can do, whether it's staying karting or whether it's going to auto solos, auto tests, which you can do at 14 years old, sprinting you can do when you're young as well. So yeah, I'm really pleased that we got that off the ground, and it's been hugely successful, and I think actually 2022 will be the biggest year yet, because 2020 was obviously hit by COVID, TeamSport was shut for half the year. 2021 we've squeezed into a 6-month period. I think for 2022 it's going to be really big. And also they've revamped the British Schools Karting Championship. So that's another thing which is really cool. So they've just kicked this off for 2022. Teams of 3, getting the school kids involved. We're also doing some other work with TeamSport with diversity, because our sport needs to be more diverse.
Yeah.
More girls, more kids or grown-ups coming from different sorts of communities. So we've been doing a trial, some pilot events, getting urban school kids to TeamSport, have a little bit of karting, and then they're doing some STEM stuff, because we all know that if you have a talent, or if you enjoy, working with your hands, or if you're good at maths and physics, the STEM subjects are really a great way to get into motorsport. So we haven't got any leaflets on the diversity thing, but it's something we're working with TeamSport to do, and that for me is again hugely important, because you'll remember Streatham.
Yes. Yeah.
Hugely the workforce was diverse, the clientele was diverse.
Yeah.
And that's where TeamSport really worked for us, because their tracks are all in urban areas, or a lot of them. So working with them on that initiative, I think, is really important.
I'll be honest with you, it's amazing what you've done. It's amazing with the schools, because when I used to work at the Playscape, I went to the owner of the Playscape and I said, listen, Martin Howell.
Yeah.
I said to him, listen, why we don't involve the local schools onto our venue, because it always motivates kids to study about physics, about math, about like you said. And I mean, it's really amazing. I even went, when I used to work with them, I went to a few schools and I just made kind of like a note, are they interested in it? And I'll be honest with you, it was a big response. And
well, Will Chew was running. Will Chew, who's involved in Club 100, he had the British University Karting Championship, which was run on Club 100 karts, and then he started the schools thing, and he ran it really well. He then sold it to BARC, and they ran it well for a few years, and then it sort of drifted off. And we were keen for it to be revamped, so basically we bought it from BARC and gave it to TeamSport to run. So I'm hoping for 2022 that's going to be a big thing, and again get kids involved in karting, because it's a great sport.
Yeah, and it's an indoor. I mean, indoor is I think it's the best for the people who never been involved in the karting. It's a good starting platform.
You look at any person who's got a bit of petrol going through their veins.
Yeah.
They drive around an indoor go-kart and they go, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
So very few people get out and go, hey, is that? And it might be 20 miles an hour, but it's still that thrill of that pure driving experience that even with the cars now, we're so removed from that. So the base, and my first love is karting. I raced for 19 years, on and off, did supercarts, endurance, road tax, two-strokes, everything, pro karts. And I just love the purity that there's nothing on the go-kart that you don't need.
Yes,
It's all just, it's you, I used to say, you and a mad two-stroke engine and a set of tyres, and that's it. Obviously things have moved on with bodywork and more protection, all the rest of it, which is great. But still, when I look at a chassis hanging up on a wall, for me it's an absolute thing of beauty and purity, because there's nothing there you don't need. There's no safety devices to help you stop. It's just pure. Like motorcycles, the two things for me are very close. So yeah, karting is my first love, and I don't see karting as a way into car racing. For me, karting is its own sport.
It is. Even it has nothing to single seaters. I mean, it's a step before the single seater, but I think anywhere when you move forward, it's a new learning. I mean, if you go into the cars, it's a new learning.
I really struggled when I went into cars. I went into started racing.
Can I ask you something? Cars. I mean, we started with the indoors, which is really amazing. But don't you think that the car racing should be more simple as well?
Yes.
And I speak, about the customer who want to just try it, just kind of like step into the simplest championship or event. And should we remove gearbox from the cars?
Well, I suppose when we go electric, we won't have gearboxes anyway.
No, I speak about automatic gearbox.
I wouldn't want to race an automatic box around.
No?
No.
You need to see my video where I raced with the Prius.
Oh, right, okay.
Around Brands Hatch.
I like having the control of the box to.
But not everyone like it.
Well,
let's be honest. This is the same like karting. You like it because there is no unnecessary stuff up there.
I raced gearbox. I used to love gearbox.
Okay.
So I did short circuit and long circuit. I was out of my depth. It's in the 90s. I did the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
Well, I crashed in that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to go fast.
But again, in karting gearbox, you don't need a clutch.
We do to pull away. We used to have a hand
yeah, pull
clutch.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't get me on cars. It's a different
No.
thing,
It was just a question idea.
I think I miss the days of single seaters like Formula 4, where it was all about mechanical grip. I'm not a big fan of aero and all that stuff. I think that learning mechanical grip is a really important thing. And when you listen to engineers who are in F1, they say they find they can make more progress with the setup of the car when you have a driver who's gone through that learning curve of understanding mechanical grip rather than just aero. But it is what it is. I think there's lots of opportunities for people to get involved in car racing.
Especially these days.
Yeah, it's become more accessible. Endurance racing is a great way to start. You've got things like the Enduro Cup, Enduro Cap, which is run by MSV. That's as cheap as you get racing identical-ish. Ford Cap, which is a great little car. You've got Fun Cup with the VWs. You've got other endurance like Track Day Trophy, which is something I started when I was at MSV with my colleagues. That's a great way to start. So I think there's plenty of options out there for people going to car racing. But this show is all about karting.
No, it's true.
It's good to be here.
You know what? It's amazing that you're doing this indoor karting championship and you recognize making the platform for the unrecognized drivers, like who just starting. It's amazing. And also your prizes is amazing because what I've seen, the first place can get the whole season in the Club 100s.
That's right. John Weigel's just there.
Yes.
So he's been really supportive of it and worked with TeamSport. Again, nothing to do with us. We just gave them the title and worked with them to promote it a little bit. But John's been giving them some prizes. John, have the BIKC winners started competing in Club 100 yet?
From last year's one, yes.
How are they getting on?
All right. One did 2 rounds and bailed out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One did most of the rounds, then cancelled his last 2 rounds because of other commitments. But one of them, Dante, has done full season. He's done very well for himself.
Dante Dillon?
Dante
Dillon?
Yeah. He was the super light champion.
Yeah.
BIKC, yeah.
He's quick.
Yeah, and obviously we're up there next weekend.
Yes.
They got the finals for this year. Where is that?
Warrington.
And so Willie's doing that with Mason.
Yeah.
With everything that's on the stand at the minute. Yeah, I'm not doing it because I'm doing the B.
I'm going up on the Saturday.
I'm doing the BPEC Awards in Coventry.
Oh, right.
Rico. Yeah, and the winner is.
Nice one. Sir, thank you very much for all this information. Thank you very much for what you're doing. One more last question. You're representing MSUK?
Yes. Motorsport UK, not MSUK.
Motorsport UK, sorry. I just took the shortest version. Motorsport UK. Can I ask you one question? I really had that issue in this year, and I'm not asking are they allowed, are they not, but I'm asking cameras on the helmets. Are they?
Oh, Dan is the person for that. I'm not involved in the regulation at all. So, Dan?
Can I quickly chat to Dan?
Sure, of course you can.
Brilliant. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I just have one question, which really worries me. Dan, yes? Yes. Racing Wolf, Anatoly. I have a question because I visited loads of venues around UK with the rental card, and some of the venues said me that it's fine to use it. Some of the venues said me no, we don't want it, and I'm speaking about action cameras.
Yep.
Can you explain me, are they okay to use them on the helmets or are they not? Because
no, they're not.
They're not.
It's very simple because of the actually a very high profile ex-Formula 1 driver had a big accident when they were skiing.
Yeah.
You probably know who I'm talking about. And the fact that he would have been okay, his injuries wouldn't have been too bad if he didn't have a GoPro on the helmet, because it creates such a pressure point on a helmet. So a helmet's designed to absorb impact around the whole helmet. When you have something stuck on it, and that then creates like a so if I had an orange and I just put my hand on it like this with my hand, no problem on the helmet as it is. If I have something like a GoPro sticking on the helmet and then I push on it, it will pierce the orange, because it doesn't spread the load evenly. It will force through the helmet. So that's the simple reason why you're not allowed. We don't permit.
Okay, yeah, got it.
We don't permit a helmet to have a GoPro camera affixed to the helmet. So
the main issue is not the camera, is the way how it's on the helmet,
I believe,
sticked on the helmet.
I think so, the way that it's attached on the helmet, which is why the FIA have moved to the internal helmets, cameras that sit just inside of the helmet. So that's obviously not. And when it's inside the helmet, when it's done, it's kind of okay. It's not okay for Motorsport UK. Only the FIA approved cameras are, which are very, very expensive. Yeah. So at the moment, the only way you can take onboard footage if you're on a Motorsport UK event is on the cart. So you can have a camera on a cart.
Or on your go-kart.
Yeah, you can put it on the front NASA camera, or you can put it on the radiator.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. But it's in the MS race. It's not in NKA.
No, in NKA, I'm not sure what their regulations are. If you're allowed, say from our side, putting things on helmets is a big no-no.
Sorry?
Putting anything on a helmet is a big no-no.
Well, yeah, because it's completely take away the helmet security, the safety.
Yeah, so it's fine to do something on the cart normally. And I think some NK venues or some venues do have the ability to do that. So maybe TeamSport does, I think, to give you a GoPro footage of your race, but you're not putting it on the helmet for our kind of events.
Yeah. Got it. I mean, now it's more clearly for me from the MSUK point of view. Yeah. And the NKA, I need to find out with them what they allowed, what they not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for information, sir. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Cheers.
Right, guys. So there was information about British Indoor Karting Championship, and also we found the information about cameras, which is now made me picture more clear. And
No, it's not.
I agree. I agree that to have something on your helmet, which is can impact helmet safety and durability, and it's. I agree that on the helmet it should be banned. Inside the helmets, again, as they said, it should be approved. So it's expensive stuff. with NKA, where we can use them, how we can use them, because this is their go-karts. So yeah, I think with NKA is going to be really different story. I think we just have to ban them because every rental karting can't be equipped with the camera holders, and the other thing that all cameras has a different holder, so it's not that easy to make it for everyone.